The Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by J. Mullins Jewelry, a family-owned and operated business treating clients like family since 1938. Jewelry design, repair, and a wide selection of great jewelry pieces online at mullinsjewelry.com. I'm Danny Brewer. We're back now with Oakland football mastermind Kevin Creasy. Coach, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well.
Good. Okay, so Oakland High School, state runner-up last year. 4 straight trips to the ship, Coach. I mean, how about Oakland High School? Come on, man.
Hey, that's something to be celebrated, you know, trying to tell our whole town over here, that our side of town, that that's a pretty big deal. You know, this kind of run doesn't happen every day. It's, very odd and very unique, and we should be very happy about it. You know, real disappointed about the way the season ended last year with the silver ball, but, you know, to get there 4 years in a row, that's kind of unprecedented.
Especially in today's climate, when you think about today's climate with how kids move from school to school and all that kind of stuff. So you had a class of kids who played in the championship game every year they were at Oakland High School.
That's right. Yep. That's kind of like Maryville back in the day, you know. Everybody that went through the last 4 years, you know, they got to play in the state championship game. 3 of the 4 got a championship ring, so that's something to brag about.
Outstanding, yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about the far-reaching effects of Oakland football. Jordan James, who played a couple years ago, plays at Oregon. Okay, so a kid you got on the roster now, Dwan Morris, he's a USC commitment, right?
That's right.
So, Coach, I mean, you know, and not too long ago you had Jacoby Stevens down on the Gulf Coast at LSU. I mean, so you're like ZZ Top here. You're bad, you're nationwide. Everybody knows Oakland football.
Well, you know, I think by the end of the year, everybody will definitely know about Jordan James. You know, he's going to be one of the top runners in the nation. You know, he's in a high-powered offense, and, is definitely doing well at Oregon. Got just several guys that were on that team that are different locations. You know, Joseph Anderson, he's up at Purdue playing defensive line. We've got Isaiah Horton. He's starting now at the University of Miami.
Yeah.
So it's good to see those guys, accomplish great things. Woody Washington's now moving to the SEC. It's his last year at Oklahoma. He's starting at defensive back. So, you know, it's one thing to go to college. It's another thing to start. So those guys not only, you know, took the name Oakland with them, but they also took the work ethic and, very proud of those guys working their way to a starting position.
Well, because you're absolutely right. Because, I mean, like you said, it's one thing to go to college, but it's another thing to be like the man where you're starting. I mean, when you think about that, and this isn't like, we're not talking about Shippensburg State these kids are at. I mean, we're talking about power schools here.
That's right. You know, and turn on a TV and you could see somebody that played at Oakland High School on TV probably every Saturday.
Outstanding, Coach, outstanding. Well, let's talk about all that stuff. What does it mean? We've talked about this in the past. What does it mean for the 2024 squad? The 4 straight trips, the kids going to playing at big time schools. What does that mean for this group at Oakland High School?
Yeah, you know, they know that there's a high standard that's set. You know, they know that it'll be disappointing if you don't get, you know, deep in the playoffs. You know, we've got some goals that we try to reach every year, and one of them is to win our first game, so that's what we're going to worry about this week. And then the next one is to win our region, and we didn't do that last year. You know, first time in 9 years we didn't win the region, so we need to win the region so we don't have to go on the road, you know, 4 straight weeks in the playoffs like we did this past year. So all those things kind of add up to, having a good season and having a good senior year for these guys that have been with us. And so it's a big deal, you know, to kind of accomplish our goals, but it's a long way from now is the playoffs. And so we got to take one game at a time. I know that sounds cliche, but really right now we're just trying to go 1-0.
But those cliches are true. Am I right?
There's a lot of truth to them. And that's right. You can't go yard by yard. You got to go inch by inch. And, right now it's one game at a time. And, Independence should be the team that's on our mind.
The off-season hunger. What kind of hunger in the off-season did your group have?
Our guys did a great job in the weight room. Everybody's put on weight, and everybody's gotten bigger, faster, and stronger. I think we had a great off-season. We've played some tough competition. Our scrimmages are Knox Catholic, McCallie, Lipscomb Academy, MBA, Montgomery Bell Academy, Macon County. So, we've played a lot of tough teams from spring all the way to now, and we think that's kind of, going to help us in the long run.
That Knoxville Catholic, that's my boy Shad, right?
That's right.
So that's that was probably a really good encounter, wasn't it?
That was good. In the spring, we played at Tennessee Tech, so it was cool being, on a college campus and playing on a college field against each other. And yep, they have a really good quarterback and a really good receiver. And we had a good day against those guys, so Shad's doing well.
Yes, he is. Very, very, very proud of him. 200 wins he got last year, all that kind of stuff. So no, he's my boy. Let's talk a little bit. We mentioned DeJuan Morris, who's obviously we know is going to be one of the bell cows. What about some of the other kids you got on Oakland?
Yeah, several different weapons. Got T.T. Hill just moved back, to Oakland, was with us his freshman, sophomore year, and, left his junior year, came back. So we're looking for big things out of him. He's a really explosive player. I think the future's bright for him. Glad he's back on the offensive side of the ball to help us out. Kevin Creasy's the quarterback, making all the calls and checks and adjustments and all that stuff. Also got Craig Tutt playing a lot of offense for us this year. He played a little bit last year, but as a sophomore started every snap on defense and did a heck of a job, so much so that, he's got offers from Alabama, Michigan, anybody you could imagine. And he was just 15 years old playing last year. So the sky's the limit for that guy, but he's one of those we need on both sides of the ball. Not everybody plays both sides for our team. Usually you got to be a pretty special player, and I think we got about 4 guys that play on both sides of the ball, and he's one of them. And Craig, he's going to be on every special teams too. So that tells you how special he is. Most guys just play one side, but he's playing special teams, offense, and defense. So that he's a heck of a player, and you'll hear a lot about his recruiting going on into the future.
How tough is it for you to keep kids like that with their feet on the ground? Because there's so much noise out there. How hard is it to keep his feet on the ground?
Yeah, Craig's one of those guys. He's not in love with recruiting. I think that's big. We see some guys that have all these stars and get all these write-ups, and we play them, and then they end up not really playing that hard, or they're more worried about their college career than they are their high school. Craig's not like that, and that's probably one of the best things you can say about him is he's humble and hungry and could care less about what schools are offering him right now. He'll worry about that later on. Right now he's worried about playing high school football, and he's one of the hardest workers on our team.
Coach, one of the things that I love about watching Oakland football is the basics. I mean, you guys are extremely good at the fundamentals. That's what wins football games, am I right?
It is. I mean, we make this thing complicated a lot of times, but, a good kicking game, blocking and tackling, that's still usually what wins football games. It doesn't matter if it's the youth football guys that are playing right now at 7 years old on our field, or if it's the NFL. It's usually the teams that do those things the best that usually are the most successful. So we try to work those as much as we can, and like I said, our guys believe in that. Offensively
speaking, I mean, there's no need to change things for you guys, right?
Well, we've put in a few wrinkles. We still learn stuff as coaches and try to do things, throw a curveball in there. You can't just live off your fastball every pitch. So we got a couple things that we've worked with in the off season, and I think it helps kind of go towards our strength, place toward our strength as far as 3 dynamic players on the field at the same time, and that being DeJuan, TT, and then Craig, and then you throw out a receiver that before he broke his arm last year. Chase Bandy was doing great things at receiver for us. And, unfortunately got hurt before the state championship game, so he's back now, and he's as hungry as ever. And so, you got some dynamic players on offense, and then, about 8 starters back on defense at, maybe undersized, but, we're probably going to be one of the fastest defenses in the state.
Well, that was my next point. That you're defensively speaking, you're not always super big, but you're super fast, and that's good, right?
Right, yeah. We're usually a little undersized at most positions, and, the good thing is, though, we'll make up for it with speed, and Coach Watson's our defense coordinator. He does a heck of a job of, not just teaching the fundamentals, but also being able to have a curveball or two himself. So he's pretty sharp on that side of the ball, and make things a little tough sometimes for the guys on the other sideline.
The experience of David Watson, that's a major plus, right?
It is. Not only did David Watson go on and play at MTSU and been coaching 29 years, but he's been coaching with Shad and Gary Rankin, so he's been around some of the best in the business. And then he's an Oakland alum. That's what I like the most about him, is he actually played at Oakland and was part of a state runner-up team, so he knows a little bit about the pain of that last game being a loss, but also he knows all the traditions and expectations of Oakland football. So that's good to have alumni on staff.
Coach Watson is a winner. We're going to talk about another winner right now that you're going to pick. The Alabama Stakes today, the run at Saratoga. 3-year-old fillies, mile and a quarter, grade 1. Coach, who you liking it? We got a stacked field here. Who you like?
I don't know. I just I like this name, Power Squeeze. I like the name Power Squeeze. It reminds me of a play that we run. So let's go with Power Squeeze, followed up by Candied.
There you go, Power Squeeze and Candy. There's your exactive right there, folks. Coach, we appreciate your time. Wish you the best of luck. Kevin Creasy, Oakland High School. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Ideas Tees, who will be happy to help you fulfill all of your imprinted apparel, embroidery, and advertising specialty needs. Find out more at ideastees.com.
At Little Caesars, get a large